Hey world, got the lighting amigos here joining you again for episode 5. I'm with the notorious NAT and the infamous Captain Matt, the Illuminator, the Captain of Illumination,
Ooh.
and then myself, Shane, Glow Show Shane.
Well, that hurts
So
my feelings.
today,
I stole your name.
right, well, you're the Wizard of Illumination, Captain of Illumination. You're all pretty. You're all pretty. At the TransWorld event here in the beautiful ghetto city of St. Louis. Don't walk by yourself downtown. What, Nate? Here, been at TransWorld for a few days. I don't know. What have you what is your
Well,
takeaway?
first off, what is TransWorld?
Oh, well,
I mean,
yeah,
some of
that's
these guys
good.
watching it might not
If y'all
know.
have no
Or
clue what
listening.
TransWorld is. I believe it's the nation's largest Christmas show. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Well,
But
Halloween
it's-
show for sure.
Yeah.
Halloween show for sure. So it was a Halloween show for decades,
Yep.
and then Christmas kind of tacked on the end of it. I think 2019 was the first Christmas event, and now the Christmas is honestly small compared to the Halloween, but it's still a big Christmas show.
Yeah, for sure.
And you can probably see in
Yeah.
the background, it's pretty damn amazing.
It's
Yeah, it
pretty
really is.
amazing. They got some jaw-dropping stuff. I like coming here taking pictures, just kind of show clients, when we're trying to sell and offer ideas. It was really helpful. I actually, in 2020, I came here in 2019. No, it was in the 2019 season. It was my second year doing Christmas lights. And we came up with a really cool idea. It was like a singing tree and lights. And I used that idea for downtown San Antonio and ended up kind of getting the contract. It turned into $100,000. And
Awesome.
I wouldn't have gotten it had I not had something completely out of the box that no one else came up with.
So you came up with the idea, or you stole the idea from TransWorld?
Well, I learned the idea of TransWorld.
Okay,
I
just-
wouldn't say stole, and I bought the product, and we did it for 2 years downtown, and then we lost the bid, and we never got it back.
All right, so I just learned something. So all this education that we're going to teach you guys through these podcasts and our weekly Zoom call, Illuminati Lounge, you guys are going to be able to learn everything from us.
That's right.
That's a fair statement.
That's a fair statement.
So yeah, if you've never been to TransWorld, you got to at least come twice. First time is overwhelming. There's Halloween side. It's fun, even though I don't do Halloween. None of us here make any money off of Halloween, but it's still amazing to see. It's insane over there. Come walk around Christmas, get ideas. You meet a bunch of different people and vendors. It's a good time, but you got to come twice because the first time is just overwhelming. Second time you got a little bit more feel for it.
And I think make sure you watch. This will be a semi-short video anyway compared to the other podcasts. But at the end, I think we'll show you some of the amazing things over on the Halloween side.
Yeah, we should pause and go walk around over
Yeah.
there. You guys would like to see that.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy.
We'll show you how Shane will get dismembered over there by a Halloween guy.
It's almost funny because Matt and I, and many of you as like entrepreneurs, right? You're walking around and you're thinking, oh, I bet I can make money doing that.
Yes.
And we were literally just having a conversation yesterday. We're like, we got all these Christmas customers. What if they want to rent these cool Halloween props? Of the doctor with a knife in his head, or the haunted, pig that's half slaughtered, or just whatever. They got super sick stuff. So we were like, well, we could buy it, at wholesale, probably for $800. And maybe we can rent it out for $400 or $500 for a weekend or the season. And those things would last decades. Like, well, that would be a cool revenue stream.
Yeah, that's the problem of being an entrepreneur, right? Is like, hey, I'm getting a few hours of sleep now. How can I change that and go after this? The shiny coin syndrome. We're looking for something shiny, but it's amazing. You're walking around here, it's like, ooh, I can rent that. Oh, I can start a business there's mobile escape rooms and all this stuff. There's even like a fluff teddy bear, $80,000 to get in. You get a trailer and a territory for teddy bears. For teddy bears,
How
folks.
can I stretch myself even
Even
thinner?
further.
Or better question, like, how can I piss my wife off even more with just one more idea?
Or for me, it would be, how can I F up another company?
We could do a whole nother podcast about
Yeah, we could do
we
that.
can teach you how to F up companies, how to get into wrong partnerships. We can go on for days on that.
Yeah.
Well-
Another good idea goes sideways.
Speaking of that, we always talk about wins.
Right.
And like wins, like getting the downtown thing my second year. That was like a huge win. But you mentioned effing up. What is maybe like something you could think of off the top of your head that's like a major F up, like looking back, like holy smokes.
Well, in my previous life as an electrical contractor, I could certainly have hours of major F-ups. Because a major F-up to me would require at least there was some financial drain, maybe costing tens or $50,000 or ruining contracts. And outdoor lighting, everything was very miniature on that scale. So, but F-ups, sir, we've all had F-ups. I'll remember one time, I have a thing called the 72-hour, burn-in period. So when we do a landscape lighting job, we leave everything on for 72 hours. And how that came about is we did a large job and we left the lights on. My guys forgot to unplug plug the timer back in. They had all the transformers just being energized. Client calls up all pissed off. Goddamn lights have been on for 3 days. And I'm like, well, of course they are. We have a 72-hour burn-in period, right? We make sure everything's gonna, if it lasts 72 hours, it's gonna last for years. Things will fail, light bulbs will fail, things will fall apart within 72 hours. She goes, you guys are geniuses, right? So from that period of time, we truly would start doing is start things energized the whole time.
Assuming that was truly an accident, because I've heard
truly
you
an
say
accident.
the burn-in period.
It was truly an accident.
Oh, so that's not
great.
really a real thing. That was just born out of an accident.
It was born out of covering, right? Me trying to pretend I'm smart
But
again.
literally, like us dipshits, we do that because you said
Right.
72-hour burn-in.
Yeah.
So
But it makes
there's-
sense. I mean, it makes sense that you would do that.
I felt like
Right?
this thing we've been doing was born out of just
Covering his own ass.
dipshit.
Well, it was born out of that, but it ended up being smart because I did have learned that if you had a faulty light bulb, whether it had been halogen in the old days or an LED today, that light bulb, if it is just fractionally bad for any reason on the inside, something's loose or something, it's generally going to fail within a couple weeks. People have their landscape lighting jobs on for 3-4 hours a night, right? 72 hours is technically almost a month, give or take, and maybe wind's taking it in the branch of a tree and something's coming out. Something generally fails fast. Things fail fast, not slow, typically.
What would you say as the wiser, elder, more experienced businessman at the table here? I've always said, I don't know if there's really any truth to that, maybe it's like the dipshit rule. But for me, like in a journey to 7 figures, I commonly say, well, you really have to lose 6 figures. You have to have a 6-figure mistake before you can get to 7 figures. Do you find any truth to that? I've lost 6 figures, probably multiple times.
I'm
But
really
it
good at
is-
losing 6 figures.
Oh, yeah. I mean, but
Well, I don't
that is
think-
probably because we are dipshits. Maybe we just have to learn the hard way.
Well, I think it goes back to what I first said. In electrical, I could have lost 50,000, which easily could be 100,000 sometimes. When you're doing $1 million electrical job and you miss it by 10%, well, 8% is 100 grand.
Yeah.
Okay, but a lot of consequences can happen. You can get 6 days of rain that floods trenches and caves in your trenches that you're doing. So major F-ups. In landscape lighting, I don't think either one of you have ever lost 6 figures. You may have done 50 mistakes that equal a larger number.
No, I didn't mean in low voltage landscape lighting. Well, that's why I love it. It's
Oh,
kinda
yo,
like,
okay.
It's kind of like dipshit proof.
Okay,
I
well,
just meant in life, investing, other
Sure.
businesses.
okay, well, I just
mindset.
automatically think that
Yeah.
if you're landscaping, because this is a landscape lighting podcast.
Yeah, maybe it was a stupid off-the-wall
So,
question.
no, I
but-
think it's a great question, which is one of the main things what I got loved about landscape lighting versus my electrical contract. I
Yeah.
got into electrical contracting because I lost $2 million in one day. One day, $2
Yeah.
million bucks, because the guy went bankrupt on me. It
Right.
cost me $2 million in one day. And that's why I love landscape lighting. Never lost one penny. Now, never had a contract go sideways and always got paid every penny. And of course, throughout
Yeah, you
30
mess up,
some
you
years,
lose.
you make a mistake, right? And which is why I think we've become so good. Because if you don't make mistakes, you're not learning. You're not elevating. You're not progressing. Because you can't do everything the same way every time until you perfect it, which always causes losses, right? And I love using football as analogies because when you think about football, I don't think there's anything in the world that can compare to football when it comes to becoming successful, right? They prepare, they plan, they practice, they scheme, right? And when you think about the game of football, which is, 17 games, 60 minutes, and the average play is 6 seconds, right? So you're talking, they're actually only playing, right, 5 minutes. They're actually only playing less than 2 hours a year. That's an amazing statistic. 2 hours a year they actually perform, like us going in front of our client face to face trying to sign a deal. But they practice 365 days a year, technically, 8 hours a day. That's what we got to do. So we have to, and obviously preparing and practicing and planning, we're creating and fixing mistakes. How do I do it better? How do I not have wasted time? How do I prevent callbacks, right? Which we've all had callbacks.
Yeah,
Jesus.
you talk about, your 72-hour burn-in period, using what the customer's asking or the client, and then, switching it up to protect yourself. That's like when I was first starting out, like demoing, what I loved about the demo, because, if I'd set my lights and the client comes out and says, that doesn't look right, I'd say, well, I know it doesn't. I wanted you to see bad lighting.
Want to see how your competitor's
first.
going to do it. That's genius.
And then move it around. And man, thank God I could do that with the, battery operated. It's so simple.
Right.
So thinking on the fly like that, I mean, the best ideas come from that, because then you could mess up some just to show them. But then when you did it by accident, you could still use that same line of, just wanted to show you.
I swear I'm going to do that on our next demo here coming up. I mean, that was really, I think, incredibly smart. Set it up. Everybody front lights everything. That's the way the world does it, right? Which looks worse than side lighting, back lighting.
Right.
So I'm going to do exactly that. I'm going to front light everything, use one light on every tree, and then the homeowner's going to come out, and assuming the homeowner might go, well, that doesn't look too bad, right? Whatever the homeowner says.
Right.
You think that looks good? Close your eyes. Go back inside the home.
Here's a level 3 job. This is what every single one of your other quotes is going to do.
This
Let
is
me
what
show
my
you
competitor's
I'm
going to do. And this is why I'm
Yeah.
more.
Yeah.
That could be the smartest thing I've ever heard in the last 5 minutes
All
anyway.
right, yeah, that could be.
In the last 5
genius.
minutes,
There you go.
watch the knock.
All right. Well,
Yeah,
you
really
guys
good.
Steal that idea. Steal that idea. Write that down.
It's not stealing if we're teaching and sharing.
Well, Nate's words.
Well,
well,
I
that's
think,
me.
in all
Sure.
fairness, so we don't have to have a damn debate here about stealing and learning. You guys mail us in $25 and you can buy that idea.
Sold.
So what about you, Shane? What's you were sharing a story with us the other night, maybe 2 nights ago, where you had us dying laughing, and it was about a demo. Why don't you share that? I'm sure.
Was that when
these
you
guys-
was that when you took your clothes off? Or is that a different story? That's a different story.
That was last night. This is
A different
2 nights
story.
ago.
So, I didn't even think it was funny when I was saying it, but you guys
Oh, this is hilarious.
cracking up. So my main guy, right, Gavin, he's an amazing guy. Amazing team member, right? So we have this customer, we just did, 30 something lights on his house. It is a real, kind of basic everyday house. There's nothing overly fancy about the house. I'll say it's probably like a $600,000 home. Kind of a really upper middle class house for San Antonio, at least. Well, he wanted to add more lights on the side of his house where he parks his trash can and his bikes. So I'm out of town, and Gavin, I'm like, hey Gavin, let's kind of do a quick demo, figure out how many lights he wants, what he wants to light up, make sure we can do it. Our idea was light up the side of the house, and then the incident lighting would spill over and kind of get on the ground he can see, rather than what he wanted was more of a floodlight situation on the ground. So Gavin thinks, well, hey, he's already our customer, I know him, we're cool. He goes, and after work, 4 o'clock or something, he drops off the demo lights to him, shows him how to turn on the battery. He's like, I would put them here, here, and here. Go ahead and put them up, play with them at night. See what they look like on your fence or this retaining wall too. And let me know, send me pictures. So he didn't want to go at night. I don't blame him, right? No one wants to go at night to do a demo, and he was already a customer, so maybe there wasn't much selling involved. So the customer went and demoed it, and he sold himself 22 lights. So
That is next
he
level.
comes back and says, yes, we want to add lights here, here, and here. All right.
And didn't even ask for a discount.
No, well, he was always looking for a deal.
Yeah.
But we gave him a deal because they were just Mariner lights. But yeah, he sold himself 22 lights. That was the easiest sell
Yeah,
ever.
and that is so crazy. There's one of your badass guys doesn't feel like working at night, and just tells the client, just teaches the client real quick. 2 things with that. One, it's hilarious. That your client, you're just like, yeah, it's a DIY demo. That might be the most profitable. I'll just stop over, drop off 3 demo kits a day.
Right.
Tell the clients to take
You
pictures.
do it.
Tell me how many lights that you just designed on your house. But also it speaks to the power of demo, because even when they were demoing it
That
themselves,
never would have turned it. He only wanted 2 or 3 lights, like just kind of shining down. Speaking of, does Gavin deserve commission on that?
no.
It's his upsell.
No.
He
No,
got
he
it.
didn't do the work.
Could have hired an Uber driver. Matter of fact, that's even a better way to do it. Have Uber deliver the lights. So I got a story kind of similar to that, which is funny. It's going back 25 some years ago, when previous company Unique, we would go and we would put on seminars through distributors. So Steve up at Westgate Lighting, he had bought like 10 demo kits and he loaned them out to the contractors. Contractor sets up a demo. Steve says, I'll meet you on site. I'll bring out 3 or 4 demo kits. So Steve's waiting and waiting. Contractor's never showing up. So Steve says, F it. I'll just start setting the shit up. And the contractor will eventually, come. So Steve, now, homeowner's out there. Steve's a funny guy. He's interacting with the homeowner. Steve's listening to at least 10 of my seminars. And so he just starts repeating things I've said. Oh, we're going to light up this tree over here and have it create some type of a sub-scene. And we'll have internet or, dimensional depth into the tree, soft lighting the background. We'll have a lighting bridge going over. Anyway, the more Steve's talking, the more excited the client is getting. And the client is starting to go, oh my God, this is going to look unbelievable. Now, the more excited the client is getting, the more scared Steve is getting, because Steve has never even turned on a light, let alone done a lighting job. So at some point, Steve told me he is so scared now, so he tells the client, please, you got to get inside. You're not even supposed to be out here when I'm setting up these lights. So anyway, the lights are on, the lights come on, daytime to dark time. Client comes on and says, oh my God, this looks unfucking believable. And Steve goes, what, do you think this is the first time I ever did it? Sold.
Did the contractor ever even show up?
The contractor never even showed up.
Oh my God.
Shoot.
But isn't that because, he was just putting lights, kind of just remembering what I said.
Yeah.
Got to have things blending together, which Steve knows that, hey, got to have lights every 6 feet, whatever. Right? Backlight. Anyway, thought that was fairly
That's
clever.
awesome.
The cops called on us once on a job site.
Did you? What?
The cop cars, sure, all come out, pulling fast in the parking lot, jumping out.
For what? I mean,
We were
what
like-
happened here?
We're all watching, like, what is going on there? And they were there for us, funny enough. We're on a municipality. We're putting a light on the roof, and we didn't want to get a boom lift and rent it. Well, we own one now, but then we didn't. And it was like taller than our 40-foot ladder. So
Wow, extension ladder.
yeah, we were
Oh
up there.
my God.
And Randy is like the kind of guy that has like no regard for his own life. He's just like super comfortable with heights. He would do things that I would never even consider doing. He's like comfortable walking in the gutter, on a home. And he's like, no, he's really safe. Like, he feels safe. Now, Randy has told me, like, I won't do it, if I don't feel safe. And there has been times, this wasn't one of them. So Randy's going towards the gutter. It's a metal roof. And he's needing to lean over to, mount something on the gutter, under the gutter. I don't even remember what we were doing. So he's on the metal roof of this City Hall building. And he's like this. And a car, we're in a major intersection, which is honestly a really major mistake. It's like, holy smokes, Randy, like, you weren't tied off. Like, come on, man. He may have been fake tied off. I don't remember. But a driver by says, "Oh my gosh, there's a sniper on the roof of the City Hall."
Right, because he's like this.
and
Oh my
broad
God.
daylight, and all these
Oh
cops
my
come,
God.
and Randy's like, "Huh?"
That's great.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
We just had a bunch of sirens and stuff like that come during the Christmas season. The guys are putting up lights in, happened to be my tree. Guy's 45 feet up in the boom. Starts like raining and snowing. Stops. Just gets stuck. They're up in the air. It's freezing cold. And they're like 10 feet away from the tree, so they couldn't even like jump into the tree and climb down. We're using the emergency, they're supposed to have all these built-in things to get the boom down. None of it works besides the emergency thing to turn it from side to side. It won't come down at all. They're up there for a while. I'm like, all right, finally we're calling the rental company. It was like 9 o'clock at night. No answer. We I call the fire department. Fire department comes. They send a 50-foot truck. 50-foot truck can't reach their guys. At this point, we're like 2 hours in them up there.
You were over 50 feet up?
Well, because they couldn't just go up underneath
yeah.
it, right? So they're from the, well, at that point, they were like in the driveway coming out. They called it a bigger truck. It was like a 105-foot truck comes in finally, goes up there, gets them. But yeah, I mean, that was scary. And it was funny because online, everyone's like, oh, you know, what an idiot. Don't you know that there's emergency, you know, levers and all that? Well, they had 5 techs from the fire department that work on their trucks. And they couldn't, they just were broken. You know, so first off, it was hilarious. They get down because second they get down, they just went right back to work. The firemen were all mad. Hey, you got to come get checked out. And Amazon's like, no, we got to finish the job. But they were up there for about 2.5 hours.
Wow.
That was scary, but.
So
wasn't that just last month?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. 2 months ago, but yeah.
So in December, a couple months ago, I was back doing a demo with Turf Pro Neil, if anybody knows him. We're doing a demo at somebody that he knew. So it's super badass looking. We probably put 60 lights out in the front yard. We had a whole team and homeowners out in the front yard with us. He's like literally his wife is ecstatic. He's ecstatic. It looks unbelievable. So we're out in the front yard, I don't know, 8-10 minutes. And all of a sudden, sirens, fire trucks come screaming down the road, stop in front of his house. Firemen jump out. Where's the fire? Where's the fire? We're all going, what are you talking about? So then we started listening. His alarms are now going off inside of the house. His alarm is connected to the fire department. He was so excited on the outside.
No.
He had left steaks or something, and he caught his kitchen on fire. Right?
No way.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
So don't have the homeowner leave steaks on the grill.
I don't even know how we got into this whole conversation because we were starting off talking about the 5th deadly sin, and we've
We're
already
not today.
Shane, I think you turned your microphone off. Sorry, guys. Let's hope we got that audio. Yep, you definitely had your microphone off. Shane, okay. Well, there we go. Talk about screw-ups and mess-ups. I tested both microphones, watched the video, made sure they were on and working, and I'm looking over without the green light. So fingers crossed, boys, that
They actually heard us. Yeah. Well.
So
I don't know
anyway,
what
you
I was saying now.
started to say,
Well,
how
fifth
we got
deadly
into this
sin.
topic.
Yeah, I
and-
guess TransWorld. Yeah, we'll pause that. We'll talk about that next episode.
Yeah, we were talking about,
And-
do we do the 5th deadly sin right now for you guys? But the problem is we can't bring up any pictures or anything like that. And I know we've heard from a lot of guys that really helps. So instead of trying to talk about something that we can't even show you an example of, we decided to share some war stories and some fun things. Hopefully you guys get some fun out of it. And are we going to go walk around at some point here and share with them at least the Halloween side?
I think we should. Obviously, we have to turn it off and do the magic of editing.
Yeah.
And show them some really cool stuff and become another funny story or two later.
Oh, fun fact, did you know if that was an Android instead of an Apple, you could just hit pause, walk around, hit play. You can't do that on Apple.
Oh.
I know, and that's why
Yeah.
I did buy a
Shout out
Samsung.
for Android. Yeah.
Right? Because I was irritated with my Apple, so I now have an Apple phone and a Samsung.
I would like
Yeah.
to point out, just in case Apple's watching this, that we actually also edit the podcast on iMovie and we shoot it on an iPhone. And so...
Well, if Apple's
I
watching,
hate
we
it.
better get some free phones, or we're switching 100% over to Samsung.
There you have it, folks.
All right.
All right.
Always be selling.
To a
All
brighter
right, let's
future.
go. Let's go walk around.